Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to be putting some work connection radiator braces on the 21 CRF450. These ones have a slight bend in them already. Uh, Weird situation. We're out desert riding, doing a little bit of single track, and we're up on this ridge line, literally about a bike width wide, and caught just a weird bounce on the rear end, kind of kicked the rear end off the ridge, and I ended up kind of straddling the saddle. And the bike, half the bike is hanging off the ridge, and it's one of those things you kind of sit there and go, huh, like, how am I going to get this thing back up and going? So anyway, long story short, kind of slid off, and the way it landed, the radiator kind of caught most of the brunt force of the tip over, and so we got a slight little bend here, which I'll show you in just a second. But here's the original radiators off my 02 CR250, which have been this way for probably the last 8 years, up until this last year that I replaced them and put some new ones in. So if you don't want this to happen, you need something like this. So these are the new radiator braces for the brand new CRF450R, and I'll unpackage them here in a moment and show you them. So I got pretty lucky. As you can see, it's not much of a bend, but there is a slight bend, like a dent in them already, which I'm a little sad about because it's still a pretty fresh bike. You can tell a little more so off the front angle that there's a slight bend. Even the shroud itself and the radiator guards got a little bend in them now. So I'm going to do my best to kind of straighten it out just a bit. I'm not going to try too hard, obviously, because I don't want to break the radiator and have it leak. But I will straighten out that tab and stuff, before I install these new braces. But you definitely need these. They are a lifesaver. Alright, so here's one of them, guys. This is what they look like. Very nice, lightweight, nice finish. And they come with everything you need to install. I got all the hardware in there. So it comes with the little spacers, the brackets, bolts, and so forth. It's got everything you need. Very, very simple thing to do, and I'm going to show you here in kind of like a time-lapse video. It's a very, very simple process. So you unbolt your plastics, and the new radiator guard will basically sit where your existing radiator mount bolts are, and then it comes with the little bracket, and that goes around this little kind of hoop part of the frame. Goes from the main tube to kind of your front cradle here, and it's basically just kind of a clamp that sits around that, and then the back portion of the radiator brace will bolt into that little bracket. Very quick, painless process, and I'm about to show you. So one thing I did forget to mention, guys, is you got this little zip tie for the wire harness here and this little loop. You are going to have to push them forward, so you can actually back it off a little bit with this little tab. You don't have to actually break the zip tie. It's got a little tab on it. You can loosen it and retighten it afterwards. But you will have to slide it forward a little bit to make this bracket actually be able to fit in there, like be able to get the bolt and everything where it's supposed to be. So, one little tip, save you some headache. And also, the radiator shroud has a tab that sits in the hole where the brace is supposed to bolt up to. So you will have to trim that a little bit to make the bolt fit. One more little tip is to leave these finger tight for now so that it can move around, slide back and forth. That way when you actually do put your radiator brace on, you're not having to try to back these out and reposition it later. You can kind of bolt it in place and then see where it needs to sit and then tighten it down. So in the directions it says to actually pull the shroud off, and you know, it doesn't say specifically how to trim it. It just says that you need to trim this portion out to where the bolt can fit. So I have a drill. There's no need to take it out really because the hole's already pretty much there. I know exactly where it needs to be. So just get yourself a drill and a drill bit if you've got it. If not, you know, you could use razor blade or shears or whatever. It's not a very thick plastic. It's not very hard to cut. I think this will just look a little cleaner. I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. But I'm going to use a drill. So now you can see where that bolt is supposed to go through and mount. So this grommet actually goes through this radiator brace itself, the rear mount. And this bolt sits in the rear bracket. So it goes in there like so. And there it is, guys. Well, that's it. Much more of a sturdy bracket for sure. They're not kind of just hanging off of the frame anymore. You've got this entire wall of protection now. All right, guys, that's it. Once again, thanks for watching. And as I do things to the bikes, I'll do my best to record everything. Like they say, there's a YouTube video for everything, and I'm going to do my best to try to capture everything that we do. Kind of give little, you know, tutorials, how-tos, and everything like that as we go along.